Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Games and Stories here on Transplant Gamer. On tonight's episode, I'm going to tell you about the time I had my very first seizure. Now, up until this point, I had never had a seizure in my life. On this particular morning, which happened to be Halloween, I woke up and got out of bed and woke up again on my bedroom floor with a bleeding hole in my lower lip. My mom then ran in because she heard a crash and she helped me up off the floor and brought me into the bathroom. My mom had me standing at the sink so she could go get a washcloth to clean my lip. That's when I blacked out again and fell back, hitting my head on the side of the tub, cracking my head open and shaking as my eyes rolled back into my head and I was foaming at the mouth and making noises like a growling dog. When I came to, I didn't know what had happened. My mom was putting pressure down on where I split my head with a washcloth. An ambulance was called and I was then taken to the emergency room. After waiting for a while, it was time to get my head closed up. Now, when the doctor came in to look at my head, he said I had two choices. Either stitches, which hurt less but take longer, or staples, which hurt more but are faster put in. And I kind of thought about it for a second, talked it over with my mom and the doctor, and it took a little bit, but we all decided on staples eventually. So the doctor left and I kind of sat there in the bed for quite a while actually to wait for him to come back, which is really nerve-wracking because, you had to wait. I had to sit there and wait for the doctor to come back to do the staples. I didn't know what it was going to feel like. I didn't know how bad it was going to hurt. And so, finally, the doctor came back and started giving me lidocaine shots right in the wound in my head of where I cracked my head open. And after he did the shots, which the shots weren't as bad as I thought, actually, as they started going, they weren't that bad. And he let the lidocaine set in for a little bit. He left again for a few minutes, and he came back with a staple gun. It literally looked like a staple gun, and that you would use for papers to, it was or construction. That's literally what it was, except it was white and it was plastic instead of the silver metal. And he came in and he said, they wet my hair down so that it would be easier to keep my hair down as he was doing the staples. And he just started shooting them in. And they didn't really hurt until the very last staple. That part was not numbed. And when he shot that last staple in, I felt that, and I closed my eyes tightly, and I gripped down on the bed sheet, and my mom could tell I felt that one, and that last staple really hurt. So after the staples, I laid down, relaxed, and when my cardiac team in Pittsburgh heard what had happened, they wanted me out there immediately. So I didn't have much time to rest before I left the local hospital, got put into an ambulance, and went on an 8-hour ride in the back of an ambulance to my heart doctors in Pittsburgh. Now, on the ambulance trip, we made either one or two stops. I can't remember how many exactly. And we made a bathroom stop at a rest area. And we got out, and you got a picture list from just, random people in public. There's two people walking with me, escorting me in uniform. If you didn't know they were ambulance, you would maybe think they were cops. And so there's two people escorting me with blood all over my face and my hair, down my neck from where I cracked it open, walking through this rest area to go to the bathroom. And people were looking. I mean, I had one ambulance, one paramedic on one side of me, the other paramedic on the right, and they were with me as I was walking into the bathroom. And people were staring because, again, as I said, I had blood in my hair, blood down my neck, my still dried up blood from where I bit a hole into my lip, going down my chin, and so that was pretty interesting, seeing me walk through a rest area on a thruway like that. And so then we kept going, eventually got to Pittsburgh Children's Hospital, and when we got there after the 8-hour trip, there was no rest. They started doing CAT scans, x-rays, blood work, the whole 9 yards, because I've never had a seizure before. I never had a seizure disorder. And just test after test after test, and I actually started getting exhausted, and I didn't eat up until this point. I probably haven't eaten in I don't know how many hours now. And then I got the news that I would have needed a heart biopsy. Unplanned, surprise heart biopsy, because they wanted to make sure, of course, that since I've never had a seizure before in all of my life, they wanted to make sure that this seizure had nothing to do with my heart. So I had another heart biopsy, unplanned, which I'll sum it up really quick, which is when they put me to sleep and they use a tiny catheter to go inside my groin into my heart and biopsy it, which is when they make sure there's no rejection, make sure there's nothing wrong with my heart. And that actually turned out very good, and there was nothing wrong with my heart. And I just all of a sudden developed a seizure disorder. And eventually they, let me out of the hospital, and we drove back home to my house from Pittsburgh. I had the staples in for, I don't know exactly how long I had to have the staples in. And of course, the hole that I bit into my lip just healed on its own like any normal cut. And that is the story of how I had my first ever grand mal seizure. So if you like this video, hit that like button. It really helps. And if you want to keep hearing these medical stories, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell. And comment below what you think of this video, what you think of the story, if you have any thoughts, comments. If you like this series, if you want me to keep doing this series, comment that below. So again, comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. And this is Evan from Transplant Gamer signing off. Bye.